Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new Let's Play. Well, not really a new Let's Play, but a sequel to my Let's Play of Pokemon White. This is Let's Play Pokemon White 2. I gotta unpause this game so we can see the little intro that comes here. So, it starts off just like the original White. So, Pokemon White 2, if you haven't guessed already, is a direct sequel to Pokemon White 2. And here we have, I think that's Reshiram in the background there. Is that Reshiram or is that somebody else? White version 2. That's either Reshiram or that's White Kyurem, which is like the main legendary of this game. I gotta turn my volume down a little bit. There we go. So these are the two main characters of the game, and we have the same starters as the previous game. Tepig, Snivy, and Oshawott. There's Team Plasma, there's a rival person thingy, there is some mysterious person we're gonna find out about in the game, and there is Zekrom, there's Reshiram, and the Three Musketeers, which we saw in the original Pokemon White. There's Kyurem, who we have not seen yet. Kyurem actually appears in Pokemon Black and White 1, but I'm gonna press start right now. And, of course, the only option here is New Game, because I have never really played this game before. Actually, I take that back. I have played this game before, but I didn't play White 2. I actually played Black 2. And I have the actual game cartridge of Black 2, and I'm just playing White 2 on an emulator for whatever reason. I'm kind of keeping Black 2 and White 2 separate for whatever reason. The only reason why I have White 2 is for doing a Let's Play of it, and otherwise I'm just using Black 2 for everything else. In fact, you'll probably hear me make lots of mentions to stuff that's going on in Black 2, just because I've already played through it a little bit. I haven't finished the game yet in Black 2, so I still have no idea what the ending to this game is going to be like, but I think I have 4 badges in Black 2, so I'll at least be able to compare some things. But anyway, let's start a new game. So, this game starts off as any Pokemon game does. We get the professor of the region, in this case Professor Juniper, telling us that we're going to start on a new Pokemon journey. Welcome to the world of Pokemon, is what every professor says. Blah 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 blah, everyone calls me the Pokemon Professor. Gee, where have we heard this before? And she's sending out a Pokemon, and it's a Cinccino. Well, this is interesting, because in Pokemon Black 1 and White 1, that Pokemon was a Minccino, and now it's a Cinccino. So, Cinccino, interesting. That's right, the world is widely inhabited by mysterious creatures called Pokemon, as every other professor has said. Pokemon have mysterious powers, I know that. They come in many shapes in different places, I know that. Blah 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 blah. Well, Professor Juniper tells me things that I already know. I'm going to say that, as I mentioned before, this will be not only a sequel to Pokemon White, but also a sequel to my Let's Play of Pokemon White. I do have a completed Let's Play of Pokemon White. So, one fun thing that I'm going to do about this game is I'm going to nickname a lot of my Pokemon the same things that I nicknamed them in White 1. Now, if you haven't watched my Let's Play of White 1, I know I'm going to make a lot of references to it, but I'm going to make it so that even if you haven't watched my Let's Play of White 1, it should still be understandable and everything. It should be, as long as you're at least familiar with the original Black or White. But first, we have to pick our gender, because for whatever reason, the Pokemon Professor doesn't even know if I'm a boy or a girl. I mean, she can't even tell by my voice. I mean, these are Pokemon Professors. You think they'd be smart enough to tell the difference between a man and a woman's voice? But no, apparently they cannot tell the difference, so I have to actually tell her that I'm a girl. Yeah, I'm a girl. I was a girl in the original White, so I'm going to be a girl this time. And in fact, I'm going to name my character the same thing that I named her in my original game. So this is the nickname I pretty much always use, since Lady Tanuki does not even fit into this name slot. I think I only get 7 spaces for my name, which is kind of interesting. I know in some games it's been 8, but for some reason here it's 7, which is good, because my name here is 7 letters long. It's Minerva. My name is Minerva. Yes, that is correct. Blah 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 blah. What a wonderful name. Could you tell me a little about your friend, the older boy who lives nearby? Yeah, so this guy is my rival. So, the thing about this game is that there is a rival in here, but the thing is, he's not a jerk. In fact, I've heard a lot of people who've played this game, they've named things like douchebag or dick or some other offensive name like that. And when I originally played Black 2, I named my rival after this one guy, I think my second boyfriend or something, who really turned out to be a jerk. But then we come to find out that he really isn't much of a jerk. Now, his default name is Hugh. That's the name that's listed on my bottom screen right now, and I know you can't even see my bottom screen, but I don't really feel like showing it. His name is Hugh, though. H-U-G-H. You know, something like that. So what I could do is I could name him after my current boyfriend, but I don't think that'll even fit. My boyfriend's name is Kendrick, and Kendrick does not fit in here. I could name him Ken for short, but that'll give the impression that I'm Barbie or something. So instead, I gotta pick some other real-life friend, or like to base him off of or something. Or I could just like call him some completely random name or something. In fact, I am gonna do that, I think. I think I am going to name him after a real-life friend that I have. I know this will sound like I'm naming him after a Peanuts character or something, because he is kind of named after a Peanuts character, but also after some famous person or whatever. So I'm naming my rival Linus. Linus, after not only the Peanuts character, but also Linus Pauling, which I think is a person who's famous for some reason or whatever, I forgot what for. But yes, his name is Linus. Minerva! I'm going to entrust you with the Pokemon, blah 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 blah, yeah, and now we get a Pokemon straight away, yeah. This happened in Pokemon White 1 as well, so yeah, what basically happened first was we got our starter first, and then we had to battle our rivals and everything. It's interesting, because in the original Black and White, we actually got 2 rivals, and we didn't even get to name them. They were Charon and Bianca, which actually mean Black and White, as I recently discovered, so that's kind of interesting. But here, we only get 1 rival, and we get to name him. But Charon and Bianca actually still appear, and it is spring. I am starting this game off in January, so January, for whatever reason, is spring, as if that makes any sense, because it's clearly winter outside, although I live in a region where it doesn't snow, and look at these fancy 3D graphics with cherry blossoms blowing about. It is Pokemon White version 2, the direct sequel to Pokemon White version 1. Derp-a-derp-derp. Let's watch these cherry blossom petals fly around. And where's the Cherrim that they were attached to? Cherrim is a cherry blossom Pokemon, and I don't think it even appears in this game. That's weird. And I see Linus talking to some little girl outside that house over there, and is that my house that's pictured in front there? I think that's my house, right? It must be. Better be, right? But the game controls are exactly as they were in the last game, and who's that woman outside? Is that my mum, or is that somebody else? I don't know, but the cross transceiver is ringing. Why is a cross transceiver ringing? Oh, hi! Why, Aurea Juniper! Aurea Juniper. Well, gee, that is the first time that I ever heard Professor Juniper's first name. I mean, there are a few other I think the only other professor that I've ever heard having a first name was... Actually, I don't think any other Pokemon professor has had a first name. Not even Professor Oak had a first name, I don't think. They may have, like, mentioned it in the anime somewhere, but I don't even remember what it was. But this is, I think, the first time where I've ever seen in-game a professor having a first name. So, Aurea Juniper. Interesting. It's been far too long. What can I do for you? Wow, Pokédex for my child? Yes, I guess that is my mom. Well, gee, I already forgot, and I just started playing Black 2 back in October when these games came out here in the US. Why, that's great. I think a journey will be a wonderful experience. Even though my daughter is totally gonna leave home and she's totally gonna miss me, I don't want to be suffering from empty nest syndrome. What? She's already here? Oh, for Pete's sake, you never change. Who's Pete? I want to know, who's Pete? Why do they keep saying for Pete's sake when they don't even know who Pete is? There's a mini Pete. That is a nickname I gave to my Yamolga back in White 2. I mean, back in Pokemon White 1. So, once you've decided on something, you just start going and going and going, and that I think is Newton's first law of motion. Because an object in motion stays in motion, and an object at rest remains at rest unless a force is acted upon it. Okay, Bianca, right? A big green hat. Got it. Bianca! I remember her. Bianca was one of my rivals in White 1. So it's nice that she makes a reappearance here in White 2. But she's actually made an appearance change, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a bit. Minerva! I'm home! And there I am. I am in my bedroom, which is like right next to the living room. Well, gee, I'm so used to my room being upstairs. I guess for some reason my house all of a sudden has only one story. I mean, seriously, in every other Pokemon game before this, the main character's room is on the second level of the house, right? But this is like, I think, the first game in which that's not true. But anyway, let's check out her room. A brand new bed. And what is that green thing on it? Is that a pair of shoes? It kind of looks like a pair of shoes. I don't know if it is. But I guess I can't check anything else in the game. And there's a PC. Adventure rule number 1. The X button opens the menu. Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my options. That's like the first thing I always do here. So I'm basically going to... The only options thing I really change here is changing the text bit to fast from medium, which it currently is at now. And I don't really need to change anything else, I think. So now the text speed is fast, so we don't need to, so we don't need to slow down every time we want to read something. See, the text is faster already. Do you know Professor Juniper? She's a famous Pokemon researcher. Yes, I know that. I know that from White 1. Apparently this game takes place like 3 years after the events of Black and White 1, so it's pretty interesting how we see the time skip. I don't know if it's 3 years or 2 years, let's not get into the details. All I know is a couple of years after the events of Black and White 1. So I know exactly who Professor Juniper is. In fact, I'm gonna play this out like I'm the same character who I was in White 1, only I got amnesia and released all my Pokemon according to Team Plasma's original wishes. So I'm gonna be on a quest to take them all back again. Actually, she's an old friend of mine, and she called me today for the first time in ages. This is out of the blue, but Minerva, do you want to have a Pokemon? What kind of a question do you think that is? What happens if I answer no? What? That's a shock! I'll ask you again. Okay, this is one of those but thou must moments in which answering no was not an option. Okay, fine, I'll pick yes. Okay, step 1 completed. Well then, do you know what a Pokédex is? Again, I'll answer no. I see. It's an amazing device that automatically records the Pokemon you encounter, although it doesn't really give you much information about them until you catch it. Yet another question. You want a Pokédex, right? Let's see what happens if I answer no. I don't mean to be selfish, but I'd like it if you were a bit more agreeable. I think a Pokédex means traveling around the world. You mean it's an automatic ticket to every airplane you can hop on? That is pretty darn cool. I want a Pokédex now. This is another one of those but thou must moments in which I have to get a Pokédex. I have to in order to progress in this game. A girl named Bianca has come here to meet you. Bianca! I know her! She's Professor Juniper's assistant! Wow, Bianca... Wow, gee, I remember Bianca from Pokemon White 1. In Pokemon White 1, Bianca was this really ditzy girl who didn't have much of a brain. She was kind of airheaded and everything. But now she's apparently Professor Juniper's assistant. Apparently she gained like 50 IQ points ever since the last game, and all of a sudden she's now Professor Juniper's assistant. That is kind of interesting. I was told to simply look for a big green hat. Well, she's still wearing her big green hat. That was like her signature clothing item back in Pokemon White 1. So, apparently the first quest that we have to embark on is finding Bianca. Well, gee, it's a hide-and-seek game already. Everybody told me this was going to be an RPG, not a hide-and-seek game. Well, your cross transceiver is in your bag, right? Because the full word cross does not fit into that item name. It has to be an X transceiver. Do you know how to open your bag? Well, the PC in my room said it. You just press X. The girl's name is Bianca, blah 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 blah. That is like the 3rd time you've asked me to look for a girl in a big green hat. This game does not let you get lost, eh? She might be lost because this is her first time here. Go look for her. But I guess that's understandable, and I think this is also the first game in which you don't actually go into the professor's lab. Because Professor Juniper's lab is actually in New Vima Town. New Vima Town being the town that we started off in Pokemon White 1. But the thing is, New Vima Town isn't really accessible until after we defeat the Elite Four in this game. So we can't even access Professor Juniper's lab until way late on in the game, which is kind of weird. Instead, we're in a completely different town, and I'll show you what I mean in a bit. But somebody's saying hi to me, let's check it out. It's Linus and his little sister? Hey, you got a Pokemon yet? There aren't any Pokemon trainers around here, and I'm getting bored. Why don't you have a Pokemon yet? I want to totally battle with your Pokemon. What's that? A person named Bianca is giving you a Pokemon? Really? Oh, that's why I have to find Bianca, because she's giving me a Pokemon. But anyway, one thing I forgot to mention is my rival's name is Linus. Linus is the name of a friend I had back when I was in college. He was a game design major, so he was really into designing video games and whatnot. But he was my friend for a while and was almost my boyfriend, but then he told me that he wasn't really that interested in me, so that was kind of a downer, but whatever, he's still really nice anyway. And we still talk online occasionally, so I'm not too sad about it. And that is Linus' sister, I was right.
Minerva, if you get a Pokemon, take really, really good care of it, okay?
And I'm making the little sister sound like a mouse or something, right? Well, Linus, what do you have to say to that? Yeah. Okay, let's go get your Pokemon, blah 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 blah, and there's something that he has to do, and he needs somebody to trust besides his Pokemon, and a person I could trust. Let me guess, that is you, Minerva, right? Yeah, you seem like you've got good instincts. Yes, because every main character in every single Pokemon game is a totally agreeable athletic type person. That's like what every main character in every Pokemon game is. Look, I'm wearing an athletic headband, and I'm carrying an athletic pink purse, and I'm wearing an athletic yellow miniskirt. Yeah, I'm totally athletic, right?
Bye-bye, Minerva,
says Linus's little sister. Alright, let's go find Bianca. And you're telling me that we need to find Bianca for like the millionth time already. And Linus is following me around. That is kind of interesting. I'm not used to this happening. But anyway, we don't have the running shoes yet, I guess, so I can't run. And normally to run, you hold down B, which is the same mechanic as we had in White 1, and I probably shouldn't be explaining all these game mechanics because you're probably familiar with them, right? I mean, this Let's Play is basically designed for people who are familiar with Pokemon in general, so... And all Pokemon games basically work the same way, right? Let's see what this random person has to say. I wish the trainer school would hurry up and open. There's so much about Pokemon I want to know. Oh, this is the trainer school right here. Let's check it out. What, Linus? What? The trainer school was just finished. No one's allowed inside until a teacher, or better said, a gym leader, starts working there. Okay, there's a place we can't access, and then there's a Pokemon Center. Let's check out the Pokemon Center, I guess. Well, this is interesting, because there's a Pokemon Center in the first town. There's never a Pokemon Center in the first town. This is like the first game in which there's a Pokemon Center in the first town. Let's check it out, shall we? What, Linus? Why are you blocking me with the exclamation point on top of your head? Wait! I was just in the Pokemon Center and there wasn't anyone like that there. Oh, you mean Bianca? Oh, just because Bianca's in there does not means we can't access the Pokemon Center? Well then, let's check out the other random houses around this unnamed city. Seriously, I don't even know what the name of the city is. Actually, I do from playing Black 2, but the name of the city hasn't been mentioned yet. What does this Kung Fu guy have to say? It's too bad. If you had a Pokemon with you as well, you could compete with Linus and see who was the better trainer. Well, totally, right? Because that's what rivals are for, comparing your Pokemon to somebody, right? Well, so far these NPCs are not really saying anything much, and that goes for pretty much every NPC inside a Pokemon game. And look, this person is so nice. She even has tea set out for us who were just breaking into her house like nothing.
Minerva, did you find the lady called Bianca? I hope you get a Pokemon soon.
And I guess that's what every NPC is gonna say. And look, she has a pretty room. She has an even prettier room than I do. Her room is all purpley. Purple is my favorite color. And look, she has this fancy striped carpet. I totally want her room. Why couldn't my room be as cool as this? My room's carpet is like plain and like sea green. I mean, I really like green. Green is my other favorite color, but not sea green. In fact, the shade of green that I really like is Kelly green. Kelly green is like the color of these trees right over here. That is like my favorite shade of green right there. It's so pretty. Like, really. It reminds me of, like, walking through a place with a bunch of plants in it. But anyway, let's see what's inside this building. I don't know. I just feel like talking to any NPC, and we're almost at 20 minutes. I'm gonna basically try getting Linus to brag to me about his Pokemon. Yeah, that's also what rivals are for, bragging about their Pokemon, right? But anyway, I try to limit my Let's Play episodes to 20 minutes for those of you who have never watched one of my Let's Plays before. And if you haven't watched one of my Let's Plays before, then welcome everybody to my Let's Plays. This is Lady Tanuki, and I am proud to be your host. Guess I was right, these NPCs are not really gonna say anything important. In fact, I probably shouldn't dawdle anymore. I think I gotta, like, go up and meet Bianca straight away or something. Nah, I think since I have only like a minute and a half anyway, I'm just gonna talk to NPCs. And this guy actually over here, let's repeat what he said. The power of science is amazing. Now you can use communications to play with 100 people at the same time. And those communications are actually represented by something called a Sea Gear, which is a repeat of what appeared in Pokemon White. But you can use like infrared communications and other things to play alongside somebody else. But since I'm playing on an emulator, I won't have access to all these cool wireless features. In fact, I won't even be able to trade Pokemon. I can't use the GTS or anything if I'm playing on an emulator, which kind of sucks. So there are some Pokemon that I just won't be able to get because of it. And I already mentioned this in my Let's Play of Pokemon White a bunch of times. Like, oh, this feature, I can't use it because it's a wireless communication thing. I can't use the Entralink, I can't use the Dream World, or all these other things. But I could in Black 2, the game I'm playing now. In fact, in Black 2, I use the Dream World extensively. You don't even know what the Dream World is if you're not familiar with this game yet, are you? And I'm trying to look around for, like, hidden items and everything. But anyway, since we're almost at 20 minutes, I think this is probably a good time to end this episode for now. So I'm gonna save the game, since we haven't saved the game yet. And my bottom screen is showing that the city we're in is called Aspertia City. Aspertia, because you can't see my bottom screen, and I've been playing for 12 minutes according to this. That's weird. But anyway, let's save the game, and this is Lady Tanuki signing off for now. Stay tuned for part 2 of this Let's Play.